Papa Day, I just wanted to mention to you today before going to bed that today was the last day in which candidates who have been circulating petitions around Guam should have filed by now. And unfortunately, or actually fortunately for me, I didn't want to go and file these paperworks with the Guam Election Commission today because I refuse to be part of the misery on this island. I refuse to be part of a system of oppression that was placed upon us by many people in 1950. More specifically, I don't want to be part of a system that will continue to sell the people of Guam off to the highest bidder in terms of auctioning our lands, in terms of people giving away what they could definitely have for free. We live on a very small island of Guam, and over the last couple of weeks, I have decided that I will continue to go in as a write-in candidate for the position of governor, and I will continue to appoint. I've made that statement that I will appoint a lieutenant governor after the primary elections, and so I've been really bothered a little bit lately about the way the government is continuing to be managed. I continually question why people would file for this continuing denial of people's fundamental human right of political self-determination. And while I can honestly say with a fact that I have a lieutenant governor, but I wish not to file this and go along with the game. I'd rather go along and do the hard way of asking people to not be part of this sick system that will continue to haunt the lives of our children if we don't stand up for now and really make a claim as to the reasons why I don't need to make a lawsuit in order to get my point across. I refuse to make a lawsuit over this issue only because I know for a fact that the courts could either say yes or the courts could either say no. There is always a chance, and I don't want to gamble. I'm not a gambler in terms of asking the court, is this correct? So I want to point out one thing, that when you run for an elected office, you must pick up a packet yourself. If you don't pick up a packet yourself, then other people who float those petitions around, you have to say yes or no. And so, because of the fact that people have gone around this island and have floated their petition and have now sealed the deal to be on a ballot, I want to point out very fundamentally what this petition reads. And I would like to mention to the people that when you try to assume that it's okay to put in the word and into a document, it can have other consequences in terms of the binding of that, whether it's taken into a court of law or whether it's looked upon faithfully by the people who signed the document. And I didn't want to play this game for the primary reasons that I'm refusing to say that it's okay to assume to put the word "and" in this line next to another person's name, because again, we can all go along with a bandwagon and just do this kind of thing without really stopping for a moment to see what you're actually signing. These petitions are very important because again, if the governor decides to enact a martial law, then the people of Guam or Congress can just go in and make any kind of changes without the consent of the will of the people of the Guam. And so I'm going to read out this petition to you, and I'll end there. It reads, this petition that floats around reads, we, comma, the undersigned, comma, registered and qualified electors of Guam, hereby nominate the candidate. In this case, it's Jonathan Diaz. In this section, they're saying that it's okay to put "and Lieutenant Governor whoever." That's wrong. It's not okay to assume that it's correct, because in the heading itself, nominating petition, governor / lieutenant governor means or. If it means or, then the lieutenant governor has to circulate a petition for his elected office for that position of lieutenant governor. But we're not doing that. They're assuming that it's okay to put "and" the other person. So this whole point is saying to myself and saying everybody else that it's okay that this is grammatically correct or incorrect. It's incorrect because of the fact that the lieutenant governor position is married to the governor position. Therefore, it's saying to the world that my civil rights is dependent upon another person. Again, this document says that my civil rights is dependent on another person. Therefore, that's incorrect, because your civil rights are never dependent upon another person. You cannot lay blame on another person for something that you might have done, right? You cannot blame that, because your civil right, when you go into court, if you might get arrested, your civil right is dependent upon yourself, right? We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal. Therefore, what this petition just read and is stated is that the governor is dependent upon the lieutenant governor, and that's incorrect. This is where Congress needs to explain to us, is that the intent of Congress is to have one civil right dependent upon another person, or is it the other way around? This is the reason why I did not file a lawsuit, because it's very convenient for a court to say yes or no. There's no in between. There's no such thing as forgiveness. It's yes or no. But in this petition, just a layman's reading of what you have signed for other people is already incorrect, grammatically, and then also binding in court, in a court of law. So I want to be very specific about that. And it's not about making a point. It's just saying to people of Guam that I am not going to stand there and make you look like an idiot. I am not going to take you down this road of treating the people of Guam as imbeciles. While you can pride yourself in a fiscal audit of 2013 being a surplus of 2.3 million, the next year, fiscal year 2014, which ends on September 30th, 2014, if there is a deficit, that just proves to the world, and these numbers will never lie, that your direction is the wrong direction. Therefore, I can forgive, but the court cannot forgive something like that. This is the reason why when you run for political office and you don't know these laws or what the extent of these things might entail, then you have no business telling the people this is the right direction, when in fact it was just going to prove that it's the wrong direction. We are in a deficit situation, my dear people. They want to already give you all the Chamorro land trust so that they can tax you. They will continue to tax people for assets. Every square inch, even an outside kitchen, gets taxed, because that is the way of Caesar. That is the way of this limited self-government that we're continuing to live in. So what am I asking you to do and giving you some guidance? Just write in Jonathan Diaz, the primary elections under the Republican ballot. That is what you can do. That is how you withhold your vote to say to the world that I am not an idiot. I am not an imbecile, and I will not be treated by a U.S. government that has yet to assume responsibility for World War II. The people of Guam deserve their war reparations, and we will continue to fight for what is right, but we will not file a lawsuit against you, United States, because we believe in you. We believe that you can be a better country. We believe that you can do what is right for the people of Guam. And more importantly, it just makes sense in these austere moments of our government that Congress needs to explain to the entire world community, what does this colony look like? So I'm not going to turn in a document when I know it's wrong. It's incorrect. And I will not stand by and just tell the people that it's okay. Well, it's not okay. I'm not going to file a lawsuit. And I am not going to turn in documents. I'm just going to go the easy route and trust that the people will write in my name. And why? You have that choice. You can make the choice. You don't have to choose from a Democrat candidate or Republican candidate. You can write my name in even on the Democrat side. So long as I am on, you write my name in, Jonathan Diaz, Jonathan Diaz, Diaz. Once you write that in, then you just tell that I'm going to trust this kid. I'm going to trust this kid with all of my life, that he's going to take me down the road of prosperity and try to make everybody on this island prosper. I'm not taking you down the road of heartache. They're taking you down the road of heartache and misery and suffering. You don't have to pay for your taxes if you're a Chamorro and you can date your ancestry back to the first census, one of the first census of the Spaniards of 1898 as well, 1898. 1898. Remember, we will continue to win if we're together, but if you're going to continue to support and go down this line and prove to the world that that's what Congress's intent is. In Congress' intent to make us look like imbeciles, if we're going to float something like this and it doesn't hold in court, think about it. Write in Jonathan Diaz. Sendang ko na sa Diyos masi sa huwag sa hamdo.